Hello everybody, Toby here again with 216 Auto Restoration. Today, or on this session here, what I want to do is show everybody how to tackle your run. So you see right here, this run, this is the 1959 El Camino that I've been working on. What I'm going to do is show you how to take out this run safely without, causing any problems as far as like burning through the paint, and about how I go about doing this. So what I'm going to do is I talked about the little wooden paint stick. I just take a piece of a wooden paint stick. It's nice and stiff. Got a piece of 1500 grit sandpaper. You can probably use 1000 or 12 or whatever you like, but since I started this car with 1500 on the Trizac, I'm going to use 1500 grit also on the run. That way I can still come back with the 1500 on the Trizac, knock it down a little bit, and then come back with the 3000 and knock it down also. So the purpose of the wooden stick compared to like a soft pad, I can explain this correctly, I hope I can, is of course the wood stick is very hard, and so it's not going to fold like the soft pad would. So if you take a soft pad on this here and you start sanding on it, what can happen is it can, instead of just getting the run and knocking down the run like you want, it might knock down all the paint around the run also. Just grabbing a towel here, wipe this off. Let's see. I had a stand for my phone, make it a lot easier instead of me trying to do this one-handed. But if you can see on this run here, this little droplet right here, it's almost kind of gives it a teardrop effect. And you see underneath there. So there's a lot of paint buildup on the top on that little knob, but underneath it, it kind of curves underneath, almost like a teardrop. So you have a lot of paint buildup on that spot and not so much underneath. So if you start taking a soft pad and you start hitting this run right here, you're going to be hitting this area above the run with sandpaper. You're going to be hitting the area below the run with sandpaper. You're not so much going to be working on just the individual high spot. So if you take this paint stick in the 1500 and you start sanding on here, the paint stick is going to stay on top of the run. It's going to stay on top of that and not get down below it. So this is how I do my process of removing runs. Keep my squirt bottle handy and keep a little moisture on it. And you want to go slow, and you want to take your time. You want to be careful with what you're doing. And also, keep it wet and keep the sandpaper wet. And you can feel it when you're moving that sandpaper across there. You can feel that run. You can tell that you're on top of it. I take that and I'll use my squeegee to wipe off, and I'll just keep slowly working at this run. You can see that right there, and all that white stuff there. Looks like soap. It's actually probably a little bit of soap in there because I do have soap in my water, but it's clear coat also. So whenever you're sanding or using the Trizac or color sanding like that, you will see that white stuff, and that is clear coat coming off. That's why you want to make sure that when you spray a car, you paint a car, that you put enough clear coat on it. If you plan on color sanding, you want to make sure you have enough clear coat on there. That'll give you the opportunity to do the color sanding. If you don't, you can burn right through your paint and right through the clear coat into the color, which is not a good situation. You probably have to spray that whole panel over again. You can try to blend it if you're a pretty decent painter and you know what you're doing. You probably blend it, but most people would probably end up just having to spray that whole panel over again. Now you see here, when I started out, this is knocking this down pretty good. Just flattening it out. I'm staying on top of the run. I'm just taking my time and sanding this back and forth. And trying to stay on top of the run. I said that one of these days I might invest in a camera. We'll see. We'll see if I get any likes. I've been doing quite a few of these videos and saving them up, and one day I'm gonna probably dump them onto YouTube and see what kind of response I get. If people like this or not. I will see. You see it's slowly coming out. Stuff on the end, right over in this area. Slowly getting rid of that. And that's my dog licking his chops. Hi, Digger. Hi, Digger. Say hi. He doesn't talk, so he can't say hi. But this is some of the stuff, like I said, on some of them shows, you know, they show you all the really good points and stuff, but not very many people take the time to stop and show you what they come up against. And I mean, if anybody's ever painted, I'm sure they're gonna have a run or two here and there. It's just the way it works. Different clear coats, spray different ways. And if you put on too much, this is the result you're gonna get. I'd rather have a little too much paint, clear coat on there than not enough. Try to hold this back enough so you can see what I'm doing here. Kind of tough to see where I got the camera or the phone and where I've got where I'm working at. I said I'll sand for a couple seconds, take my squeegee, wipe it off. See, it's getting there, and you can see that whiteness underneath there. Still showing that there's a little run right there. You can still see it. It's actually coming out pretty decent. I kind of want to show you the whole process and not, you know, go away from the camera and then come back and it's all magically disappeared. Yeah. It's not what I'm trying to do here. I know it'd be a lot easier for me if I did set this down and this phone down. So yesterday what I did is I got the whole car finished with the 1500 and I moved right up to the 3000. I got the whole car sanded with the 3000. It's on the Trizac pads that are just really, really good pads. I'm not getting any promotions. I'm not getting any deals from any of these places like 3M or Scotch or any of that places or House of Color. It's just the stuff that I use. It works for me, so I'm just trying to pass it on to you guys. You know, and hopefully, you know, some of my mistakes that I make are going to help people not make mistakes. Hopefully some of the tools that I use can help make your life a little easier. And this is all trial and error by me that I've done, you know, over the years that I've been doing this. I'm not perfect. I'm not a professional. I've just been doing this for a long time. I'm pretty much self-taught. Read some books back in the day when there was no videos around. Like I've said, I've promoted Trizac a little bit on here, but I do have to say that it's an excellent product compared to hand sanding, but on the downside, it's expensive. And Trizac pads are not cheap. They, you know, I'm not going to say what they cost, but you know, you can Google it. You can buy it on Amazon or any of those places. You can probably buy it down at your local jobber or AutoZone, CarQuest, Napa, wherever. I don't know if they carry that stuff, but I usually just get mine off the internet. I'm not gonna say individual places. I don't want to get in trouble. But you know, if I ever get this out on YouTube correctly, you know, I guess you could put like little places where links, I guess, that you can, links that people can go to and find that product. But as you can see, this is working really good. I'm getting down there. Look at still a little bit of this whiteness underneath some of these small little drops. A lot of these ones that were on the end are gone. So now I'm coming back over here where the heavier stuff was. You can actually see this long run that I had here. It's fading away too. A little bit more. And this process doesn't take too long, so as long as you just take your time and you go slow. You don't have to be in a hurry on any of this stuff. Sometimes getting in a hurry can just get you in trouble. If I just keep slowly working at it, I can still feel that long run here. But I think if I would have just used a soft pad, it would have probably really cut the clear down on one side and could have made a real big mess for me. So this paint stick method is a really good trick. I don't know if there's too many people out there that do this. Once you see the result here, the nice thing about it too is that it doesn't put any holes, like digging holes down in the paint with the soft pad on either side. And when I'm done, it's going to be nice and completely flat, like I would get with just by using a Trizac on a good paint without a run in it. So this will be really nice. You'll never be able to tell if there was a run in this area when I'm finished here. And just slow motions back and forth. Like I said, I sprayed this car. I put 3 good coats of clear on here, which is, with the House of Color, that's quite a bit of clear. I've heard, you know, and I've seen on some of them other shows and whatnot that they put 4 or 5 coats of clear. But they don't show the individual spraying it. So it's like, okay, how fast was he going with his gun? Was he spraying really fast across the car? How much material was he putting on? That's just stuff that they don't really show you and they don't tell you. When they say medium coats, they say wet coats, they say, you know, and for people that don't understand what they're talking about, it's really hard for, you know, an individual to figure that out. So once you get into this and you start doing this yourself, you'll figure out your own stuff. You'll figure out the stuff that works for you. You'll know what a medium coat is for yourself. And you know, I've never really seen them tell you, okay, I've got the tip on my gun is a 1.8 or 1.5 or 1.2, and I turn my needle out at 2 full turns, or 3 full turns, or 4 full turns. So all of that really, really affects how much product you're spraying on your vehicle. And if you don't know that, how are you going to know, okay, I put 3 coats on? Okay, you put 3 coats on, but where was your needle at? How fast were you moving the gun? So there's all kinds of factors that affect that. So I'm just gonna wipe this down real good. Blow on it a little bit, dry it up so you can see. That run is almost completely gone. See a little bit of right here. See the dark spots now? Show me that's a low spot there. I got this one right here to finish. But the majority of the run is almost completely gone now. Keep it wet and keep it moving. Hope everybody's liking these videos. What I'm going to do here as soon as I get this run taken care of is I'm going to finish this car with the 5000 on the Trizact. It's a 5000 grit. And I'll show you what it compares to with the 3000. So I've done the whole car in the 3000. I'll do half of the hood in the 5000. And then I'll give you guys a shot of what the difference between the 5000 and the 3000 does. As far as the shine, I guess, the reflection of the light in the paint. That way you can see how big of a difference there is. There is a big difference between 3000 and 5000. Very big difference. That's 2000 grit. Between 3000 and 5000, I actually did go to school. I can add a little bit. Not too much. By taking the car all the way to a 5000 grit sandpaper, it's just going to make the buffing process so much easier. There's other manufacturers. There's, you know, that come out with different pads and they come out with different polishes, and a lot of them say, oh, you only have to go to 2000. You know, hand sand 2000, like with this type of paper. Take it to 2000, and then they have different polishes maybe, and different pads. You can still, cause a lot of work doing that when you're standing there holding a buffer for a couple hours. Gets to be a little bit of a job. This stuff is completely gone out of here. It's got this little streak right here. So my little wash bucket right here. Keep handy. Sometimes I'll spray it. Sometimes I'll just dip my sandpaper in the bucket. Yep, it's getting there. I've been talking about this El Camino. And we talk about the bed of it, and how much rust was in it, and how far do you want to go on a vehicle, as far as how much money do you want to put into the restoration process. What's the vehicle going to be worth when you're all said and done? Actually, the owner of this vehicle, he's had this car for quite a while. It was basically a lawn ornament, sitting out there rusting, and he wasn't sure if he could save it or not. It was pretty much ready for the crusher. I know he wanted to save it. He's always wanted one of these cars, and didn't want to stick, $50,000 into it. But he's a good buddy of mine. I thought, well, I'm gonna help him out. We'll get this car back on the road. We're gonna save this car. 1959. I mean, you don't see very many of them. So he talked to me, I talked to him. It's like, well, we can leave the bed like that, and you can definitely drive it. It doesn't hurt the integrity of the frame, I want to say, or of the driving capabilities of the vehicle, or the safety of the vehicle. It just doesn't look good. But nobody's gonna see that rust underneath there unless you crawl under the car. And he's not worried about that. He's not worried about people crawling under his car. Not too many people are gonna crawl under your car. Look at it at a car show or something. But it's pretty neat to be able to bring a car like this back from the dead and turn it into something like this. It's a pretty good feeling of accomplishment. And as you guys will learn, when you do your car and you bring it out in the sunlight and people are going, wow, that looks nice. I mean, it gives you a sense of pride and a sense of accomplishment. And, you can be proud of yourself for doing something like this. Well, as you can see, this is pretty much, the round is completely gone. Might be. was out of there. I think, what was this, 24 minutes? Took about 24 minutes. Could cut that down a little bit if, you know, I wasn't holding the phone and explaining to everybody, but, you know, like I said, don't be in a hurry, don't be in a rush, take your time. Looks like one little shiny spot right there. If you can see that or not. But now that I've got it that far down where you can't see the run at all, I'll come back with the 1500 on the Trizac and I'll hit that real quick, just kind of quick. Go across there just maybe 2 or 3 times with the Trizac pad, and that should clean that right up, and we'll be on our way. All right, everybody, thank you for watching. I'll see you soon. Toby here with the 216 Auto Restoration. Everybody take care. Thank you.